Want to know a secret? Promise not to tell? We are standing by a wishing well.
There are mostly two types of loves portrayed in romances. The first one is an obsession, a chase for a deity that you fall for, kind of an irrational feeling of happiness for existence of a person, well, and perceived notion of living together, forever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, and ever, ever, ever. These days it's called a crush. Okay, but besides my really dry commentary, it's a very real, kind of undescribable, emotionally overwhelming and exhaustive feeling that could even define adolescence. The second one is the actual romance, and not the creepy thing. It's a relationship, where the romantic part isn't what you aren't, which is this great deity of appeared happiness, but what you are. A flawed human being that is in the relationship with another flawed human being. It's the part where importance of understanding the other and sacrifice of your personal importance for the sake of the other are overt. This love is not about chasing happiness in perceived other, but rather a source of support, mutual respect, and inspiration.
バカ
Ironically, anime shows dodge the second type of romance like a plague. There are obviously notable exceptions, for example, basically everything that Makoto Shinkai's ever done, but most of what shoujo anime portrays is just angsty kids being doubtful about each other, which is fun and full of fuzzy feelings, but not the nitty grittiness and complexities of actual relationships. And it's in this context of cynicality that I come forward with my Doukyusei review.
燃ゆる若葉の映る目に会いたい
Doukyusei is a particular case study, as it tries to take elements from both of these romances and recontextualize them in a functioning way. The thematic threads of adolescent love, of sacrifice, of support, and the moment-to-moment sentimentality, for lack of a better word, shoujo's tone. This type of tone is excellent for fuzzy moments, but not for grounded drama, as one of them wants to create sense of strong bond through slow pacing and character growth, and second, scene-to-scene sweetness. So, why did they go for this combination? First of all, and probably the main reason, it's an adaptation of a tropey manga, and the second one, aspect ratio of choice. It's wide, and it opens up a space for a lot of environmental design, but it's not good enough for dialogue-heavy dramatic plotlines. For example, shot, reverse shot just doesn't work at all. Tightness, focus, and dialogue framing that is important for good dialogue just flattens to the huge amount of empty space with aspect ratio this wide. And fast pacing for these type of aspect ratios just feels ridiculous. So dialogue-based drama is not really an option. But Doukyusei does something really smart. Instead of slow-paced bond strengthening through one big story, it separates itself into 4 vignettes. 4 vignettes about the same couple in different points in relationship, structured perfectly to the 3-act structure. And by perfectly, I mean literally, perfectly, structured as the most bare-bones 3-act structure there is. Setup, confrontation, and resolution. Setup, confrontation, and resolution. Setup, confrontation, and resolution. Setup, confrontation, and surprisingly, resolution. All 4 of these average around 17 minutes, so instead of prolonged story about one's relationship, we get snippets of dramatic tensions in a relationship through time. In theory, this should not work at all. 4 parts, each of them 17 minutes long, trying to portray a romantic relationship that dangles around some heavy melodrama. Fortunately, its visuals not only make it functional, they connect them to the overall theme of sentimental look back at the adolescent love. And while there is some melodrama, it's a melodrama for a reason.
燃ゆる若葉の映る目に会いたい
As I said earlier, wide aspect ratios aren't good for dialogue, but they do something, make wider composition, and space within it a character itself. Doukyusei uses this space for a sense of loneliness and alienation. Now that's a magnificent shot. The dark tone of color, with framing just enough for a lot of amount of space around him, makes it feel like a sad, thoughtful alienation. But as amazing as that whole scene was, the brilliance of Doukyusei comes from the use of alienating space not as device for hardship, but for love.
ああそこ音違う。ほらナチュラルついてんから半音戻んの。だから普通のミってここじゃ。それはトーンのミじゃん。トーンサジョって黒板見えないんじゃなく楽譜読めないんじゃ。読めるよ。ここがどだろう。ドシラソ。そうやって一個ずつ数えてんのかよ。とろくせえ。あ、ムッとした。おもろい。そんじゃさ、楽譜追うのやめよっか。俺の後について歌って。
第二楽章から第一第二に分かれんぞ。
草壁第二だろ。
ああ、でも第一もわかるよ。それにハモリならハモりつつ練習した方が分かりやすいし。草壁ってすごいなって思ったろ今。
別に思わな。まあ思ったよ。
まあってなんだ。
ねえアンチコクラーメンな。
マックで勘弁。
ラーメンビッグマックポリスってどこ行ったんだろう。
All of these scenes had a sense of loneliness and alienation, but the tone drastically changed. The warmness of color, chill music, and even the overall composition just deeply blossomed. It just tells you that these two want to be together. Another aspect of Doukyusei's excellence is understanding of usage of color and style. Really sharp and blocky compositions could fade away into obscure backgrounds of watercolors in seconds. It's in the confession scene where it shows how effective and beautiful it is. Just look at the change of color in this scene. Kusakabe's point of view gets progressively more white and obscure, contrasted with the blockiness and sharpness of this shot. At Kusakabe's lowest point, we cut to the point of view of Sajo, who has fully colored background, signifying a place of power. Kusakabe's color grows as Sajo confesses as well, and the last cut is full of bloomed light colors instead of sharp, blocky cinematography. While it's a bit on the nose, it's one of those scenes where if it isn't on the nose, you probably did something wrong. But Doukyusei has other brilliant, subtle uses of color blocking as well. This scene is defined by a battle of two elements: concrete walls representing doubt, and more light watercolors of trees representing love. The framing puts concrete walls blocking the more light-colored trees, and even puts these two into polar opposite, at the beginning and at the end. Another thing that makes this scene work is its unrelenting sense of moving forward. Position of, for the lack of a better word, the camera is at the start, far behind them. Shot by shot we get closer, but they still move forward. This gives a sense of catching up and movement. The pacing is insistent in moving forward as well, always not wanting to linger in a shot. Except when they do stop.
そうかも。
チューしていい？
ダメ。ダメって言ったろ。
We end with this shot of Sajo running into a blocky building, while Kusakabe stays in more tree-filled department. The relentless movement forward of Doukyusei, exacerbated by its precise pacing, connects the theme of growing up and sacrifice of individual dreams for the sake of other really well. And there are some stellar performances by both of our main voice actors. And while I am going to say a lot of shit about our 4 vignettes, they are excellently crafted. The 4 vignettes of Doukyusei are all the same in terms of dramatic tension. All 4 of them similarly structured and predictable. Sajo gets angry at Kusakabe because he thinks he's not fully trusted, or Kusakabe gets angry at Sajo because he thinks he's not fully trusted. All 4 of them smell of melodrama, and the only thing that changes the theme of vignette is the reason why they get angry. So if Kusakabe wasn't told by Sajo that he wants to study far away from him and gets angry, that's a theme about individual dream and their tension within a relationship. And if Sajo gets angry at Kusakabe because he thinks that Kusakabe doesn't take the relationship seriously, that's a theme about trust within the relationship. But none of them change anything within the dramatic tension of their structure, so we get 4 vignettes tackling different themes that feel literally the same. And all 4 of them get the same love conquers all kind of ending, even if the last one needs a lot more than that. But as I said earlier, a lot of these flaws get saved by its visual mastery. It doesn't feel like a complete melodrama, as the visuals quite strongly reinforce that they love each other. The thematic threads don't feel half-baked and tacky, as the overall theme is a sentimental look back at adolescent love. So as a tone piece, it works excellently, but it's not much more than that. And 2 of the characters that talk are framing devices. I think what we learned is that a story full of cliché could become great with some care put into it. In the end, it's really nothing jaw-dropping, but a love story about 2 boys. And it's cute, and it's full of great cuts and shots. Score, 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 score. I think that scores after you drown yourself within the artistic merit of a subject don't feel fair. That means that if you initially watch something, your review is not the same as if you analyze its artistic merits fully. So 9 out of 10, I guess.
君が口づけた2度目の夏が来た
Yeah, and I forgot, it's about gay people, so tune in the music. If you wanna join the cult of Billy Harrington, click the subscribe button below. We gather every day and analyze gay porn to its scrutiny. So as a start, analyze this.
Hey buddy, I think you got the wrong door. The leather club's 2 blocks down.
Fuck you.